But she already filmed her regeneration at the end of Revolution of the Daleks.
Oh yeah, I guess. Shit.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, like, entertain the idea of, like, if that was true. Where on earth in that story could a regeneration have fitted in? And I guess this is a nice segue into actually talking about the episode. It's like, because there's quite a... how long was it? Like, it was like a 75-minute special. It was a long one. And it was like, it felt like there was a lot going on in it, but also not a lot going on in it. If that makes sense.
I feel like it was a typical Chibnall episode in which it was like your standard episode, like your standard plot, but then it just had all these other things going on as well that you didn't really have enough time to focus on and flesh out. You know, it's exactly the same as something like Fugitive of the Judoon, in which it was like, there's 3 stories being told here, and you just don't have enough time to tell any of them, so they all suffer because of it.
I was just gonna say, it's like, he's got to make it big, and the secret to Chris Chibnall and this era of making a story feel big is 3 locations.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, why were they? Can he just make his mind up on what font he wants to use?
It's cool. It's cool being diverse and filmmaking and technical language.
Why was it orange this time?
It was so... I did kind of like, like a long time ago, I liked that joke of it, and then it was like Cheltenham or wherever, like, and yeah, and it was like long time ago, 2019 brackets. And then I also liked, after they had like shown the recap, it was like, this amount of minutes later, I kind of like that. It felt very almost SpongeBob-y. If you're like, a few moments later.
Yeah, I get that.
Like we were saying before we hit record, I have no real strong emotion on this episode other than I remembered like coming immediately out of it and just going, yeah, that was fine.
I didn't think you liked it. Like, I remember you not really feeling anything, and I was like, oh, this is going to make an interesting review. But then you rewatched it and you liked it a bit more?
Yeah, I was very enthusiastic after I had, like, rewatched it. Well, I say rewatched it. I rewatched parts of it to try and refresh it in my memory. Okay. And I found, like, specific moments, and I feel like this is also, like, a bit of a theme for this entire era. It's like, if you watch a moment sort of out of context, it can seem really amazing. Like, I feel this is like one of Jodie's defining performances as the Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I wasn't like going, what is she doing in like this scene? What's she channeling? I just was totally in it. It felt very much like how I did with Spyfall. I felt like, oh, here's the Doctor, and I wasn't like doubting anything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like her moments in this felt like, era defining. Her, this is what she will be remembered for. Like the TARDIS floating above, where was it, Bristol? The TARDIS floating above Bristol, and her goating the Daleks, flying into the TARDIS. Which, if you watch that scene, it's like, oh, it's very clear that's what she's trying to do, and it's not just like because she keeps going like, I'm in the TARDIS, what are you gonna do? Because I'm in the TARDIS, and it's like trying to go them on. I quite like that. I completely lost my train of thought while I was saying this. So, yeah.
I mean, I say we just sort of go through the story and break it down like a little bit, like just like a little plot synopsis. We don't have to go like, so this is everything that happened, but just to like.
Yeah. I got you.
Well, I mean, it kind of picks up directly from where Resolution left off.
I liked that. I kind of liked how it just immediately picked up. Like I was saying, like the gag with the title card, like 300 minutes later. I just felt that was a very well done joke as well. Showing that big recap of the dramatic in air quotes action scene where they put a toaster on a Dalek.
Yeah.
I'm so glad like the plot of Resolution wasn't integral to this story, because we don't particularly like resolution. All it had to be was just there was a Dalek, and that was it. And I was like, I can roll with that.
Yeah. It doesn't rely on that story, really.
And it shouldn't, because I will come to it in a bit, but the stuff that this episode just sort of drops on, like, the casual audience, because it's been like 8 months since Doctor Who was last on, but it feels like this episode, like, it felt like this Series 12 should have been broadcast towards the end of 2020, and then have this special, like, a couple of months later, because it's like,
yeah,
until we saw that trailer where, like, Yaz is in that TARDIS, I was like, I completely forgot, like, the events of the Timeless Children happened.
I mean, that's probably for the best.
And they do lightly touch on it in this story, and I was worried, like, when they did touch on it, I was like, oh no, but it was handled well enough. They didn't. It wasn't integral to the plot, like the resolution stuff.
Yeah, but the thing about with the resolution stuff though, it may have followed on from that, and that wasn't too confusing to, like, casual audience. But bringing back Jack Robertson, like, I feel like that was a bit of an odd choice. He really works in the story. Like, don't get me wrong, and I do actually really enjoy his performance because he has stuff to do here, but they don't really, like, acknowledge it, really. Like, so
no,
you remember, like, Trump parody guy from Arachnids in the UK? He's back, baby. Like,
well, it's just like, yeah, after the credits, there's no real, like, introduction for him. I think it's just, like, cuts and he's there, and there's, like, there's just sort of a brief mention of, like, your political career got tarnished after that hotel fiasco or whatever it was. And it's like, and that's, again, I can see what they were trying to do. It's like, you don't want to go, hey, do you remember these giant spiders?
yeah. I'm glad they didn't, like, reminisce, like, on it too much.
Yeah. Do you remember when your whole evil plan got stopped by Ryan playing Stormzy? You know, at least it wasn't like that. But I do feel like what I was saying before is, like, just dropping a lot on this episode, where it was just, like, you know, the whole stuff of, like, everything that happened in the Timeless Children. Like, because the characters just seemed to popped up, like, when they had no real introduction scenes in this story, I felt, apart from, like, the Doctor. But even then, you just drop into prison and there's no, like, context given immediately for it, I guess.
Jack Robertson's role worked. Like, I found it funny that, like, I rewatched the last video. I literally say, like, Jack Robertson's back. This was before he was announced. So that was kind of funny. But, like, yeah, so he's obviously in here because he's created these drones from the leftover, like, Dalek carcass to sell to the government. I kind of like how shit they are. Like, the defense drones. Like, and also, right, your theory sort of came true. Like, you were wanting... Yeah. It's kind of Blood of the Daleks-esque.
Oh, you mean that better story?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I don't like people that criticize the story by basing it like, it's just copied this. It's just... like,
no, that's not... It's not a valid criticism, because Doctor Who's been going for nearly 60 years, and there's tons of expanded media. Like, of course, the same stories are sort of going to get told. It's not like this was direct plagiarism. Like, it was a different story to Blood of the Daleks. It just hits some of the same beats.
Yeah, I don't get the people that are comparing it to Victory just because they're like, oh, but the Daleks are working for the British government. And you're like, kind of like
stretchy. The Daleks didn't really work for the British government.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I've realised that I do have, like, stuff to say on this episode, but I want to keep this light and brief. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, you were talking about Robertson.
Oh, yeah. He pretty much just introduced, like, he was only here to, like, be like, here's some new Daleks.
Yeah,
Some defense
what you were
jobs.
saying before about like his performance in this and his role in this was a lot better than in Arachnids in the UK,
Oh
where
yeah,
he
yeah.
just sort of does nothing in that story.
I
At
actually
least
like
here
this
he like
character. Like, he was a twat,
yeah.
but he was kind of like a twat that, like, I was sort of getting behind. Like, I kind of liked him being a dick. I was like, oh.
I think it also helps that the twat he is clearly based on is no longer in power, and
Yeah,
that
true.
helps. Like the joke didn't feel as like, yeah, but this is a real fucking guy and like real. This is like a real thing that happens, and it still does happen. I'm not like going just because Trump is not the president anymore doesn't mean he like people like that and his influence does like is just forgotten about. Obviously not, but
Yeah.
it was just nice to have him also not just be I'm a Trump parody.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
he had like
It's
he was
weird because,
yeah.
like, the Trumpisms were, like, ramped up, but they didn't feel as, I don't know, in your face, weirdly. Because, I mean, like, he
I
had,
felt
like,
like he
his
had like
Robertson Hotel and stuff, and, like, he was much more Trumpy, but he also kind of felt like a
mm,
good guy. He was, like, a
yeah.
good guy, but
In
he was a
this
bit of an arsehole.
in this he's just a slimy bastard out for
Yeah.
himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I just you gotta have. I know people were like, "Oh, how did he just get away?" It's not like I felt like it was better here, him just sort of getting away with it, than it was in
Yeah.
Arachnis in the UK, where he just sort of walks away. Because it's like the Doctor, uh, especially this Doctor, isn't really going to take like him to the authorities. Although it
No.
would have been kind of poetic justice if she had thrown him into the prison she had been stuck in. Kind of that would have been funny. But him getting away and like that bit on the Bristol Bridge, the Dalek invasion
Yeah.
of Bristol when that happens when the Death Squad comes down. I liked that where he just sort of goes, I've seen a better offer. Bye. And it's not like the
Yeah.
Doctor's like she's got stuff to deal with. So in that moment when he like ran off, I felt like, oh yeah, she's not gonna go. I'm gonna kill you now.
Yeah, yeah.
She's not
Mm-hmm.
like gonna attack him. And I like that he did get away because you just need that sort of. You need. I feel like that Doctor Who has never had this sort of character before in this sort of sense, where it's just like, and he just keeps getting away
Yeah,
with
yeah,
shit,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
because they
it's
always get their
fun.
comeuppance, yeah.
He like, and when he will get like he will come back,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
and
sure.
there's the interesting idea that I've seen where it's like him and Barton might team up. I wouldn't be against that. Depends what they do, but I wouldn't be against that.
Hmm.
The two villains that just walked away,
They
and they're
team it, they,
teaming
like,
up with
rock up
Tim
with
Shaw,
Krasco. Yeah.
and then Crass. Yeah,
I was like, that wouldn't
let's
work,
bring.
actually, because he's racist.
Yeah, it's just I just feel like when he does get his inevitable comeuppance, it will feel more satisfying, and I just feel like yeah, that I'm happy to wait for that, and I'm
Yeah.
happy to just this dick of a guy just exists in Doctor Who, and yeah, that's fine. This era needs more in like characters defining to it, like
Yeah.
supporting
Yeah,
characters.
yeah, I
Like
agree with that.
obviously RTD had tons had spin-offs dedicated to
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and like
And I mean, Moffat had a lot of
Moff-
original characters as well.
and Moffat had tons. I can't remember others than River Song off the top of my head, but they existed. Like there was a Moffat universe,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, and there was the RTD Doctor Who and there was Moffat Doctor Who, and Chibnall Who. Even though it's been going for like 3 years now,
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like it's relatively fresh, it's relatively new, and I definitely feel that's the years gap.
Oh, yeah.
Did that.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because it's like, if Jodie is gonna go, like, at the end of this series, like, I'm very skeptical, but if she did go, was thinking about it earlier today. It's like I feel like I barely got to like experience this Doctor. I feel like it went like that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, which is weird because you'd think the breaks would drag it out, but it's like, no, it doesn't feel like we've had our time. And just because like my personal opinions on like series 11 and 12 is like, I don't think she's been dealt the best like stuff to work with either. So it's like,
And she is a phenomenal actress.
yeah, I don't really want to get tied down
hello?
on like just the Jodie Whittaker era as a whole because like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry.
We spoke on that in, like many videos or series 12 and 11 videos.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, this story, I think a lot of people said it, but especially Trilby encapsulated it in his review. It's like it showcases the best and the worst of this era.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of Chris Chibnall scripts just do that anyway, and I know that's pretty much the same for like Moffat and RTD. Like their scripts usually are either use the best and the worst. You know, you can find it's easy, like it's level pegging, but it's because we're living through these kinds of stories. It's just we're calling it how we see it as it is, and I'm sure with the benefit of hindsight in years to come, we may look back on this era differently. But
yeah.
Speaking more directly about Revolution of the Daleks, it's a story with it wants to do a lot, but it trips up quite a few times. It's still like gets through it, and you can feel pretty satisfied, but it's just got things that is like if you
It
change
feels like
this
it's
or
trying
if
to
you
be
worked
something
on
like
that.
the Stolen Hour for Journey's End or something, but it's just like it just has these hurdles.
Yeah, and it's not like hurdles that it is like, oh, it's out of their control. It's hurdles that it puts in it. They put in its own way. You know,
Yeah.
like the whole stuff with Jack, and we have opinions on John Barrowman, but let's talk about the character.
Well,
He
I know you weren't looking forward to him coming back.
no,
And neither was I, because I don't like John Barrowman. But I have to admit,
yeah,
I did enjoy the character of Captain Jack in this story. He didn't feel shoehorned into me, like he did sort of.
But
I did find it odd that he kept drawing like attention to the fact that he couldn't die and then just wasn't killed
and
once.
then it just never did.
Yeah, I was like, why would you even write that in?
I'm Captain Jack Harkness,
He
and
could
I'm
have been
immortal.
He could have been like the decoy, like, just see him like get gunned down.
There was that very. I saw a very dark joke from Harry Draper, who said it's like, what if he had said, "I'm Captain Jack Harkness and I'm immortal," and then the Daleks just killed everyone else on that ship, and they just went, they weren't. That would have been. A part of me would have loved to have seen that, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like in parts he works, but in parts he was like, why are you here? I enjoyed the bits he was in, but it was and it's not like a shoehorn thing. It was just a more of a thing. It's like an unnecessary spare part.
I get
in a lot of cases.
I get
specifically like at the end when he just doesn't get an ending scene with the Doctor, and it's just an ADR line.
Yeah.
Where he just goes, Gwen Cooper, you know, Torchwood. Woohoo!
Yeah, reference. I mean, I really like this like chat with Yaz.
Oh yeah,
like
that was like the scene. You go.
You can say what you were going to say on this scene.
No, you go.
I was just going to say about like him breaking Jodie out of prison. Like I thought all that stuff worked as well. I mean, it was very obvious that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Although they did like make that joke again, where it's like, "Oh, he's hid it up his bum." Haha. Funny.
Funny. he's an odd character for this sort of era. I know you've just said like he
Yeah.
weirdly works. I I just don't feel he exists, especially not just in like this era of Doctor Who, but in this sort of in this climate. Like we're in a different world to like the last 11 years ago when we last saw Captain Jack properly. You know, in the show, he's like a lot of like stuff's happened.
No, I kind of liked what when Yaz was like calling him out as well, like just on like his bullshit.
That was good.
Yeah, because it was like he's so, like such a cheesy cliche kind of like guy. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
what, are you
but we're just
insecure
gonna
or
do all
something?
the cheesy cliches. It's
Yeah.
the thing. It was like, oh, we're gonna acknowledge that he's doing all these cheesy cliches, and that makes them okay to like do them. I don't like that. I just feel like, no, just because you're pointing out that it's dumb, doesn't mean it's not dumb. Same thing
I mean,
with like
I don't
the
think he was
the
written
cyber
badly
men.
in this. I think he was written. He was written better than like Fugitive at least. Then again, he
Yeah.
had stuff to do.
True.
I mean, I enjoyed him, but like I don't want him to come back. I like them for
Too
what it
soon.
was. Yeah.
He will come. If he since he's come back now, it'd feel weird not to bring him back again.
Do you think he
There's not going to
slapped
be
his dick on the
another.
console?
No, he took photos of everything, John. He wasn't slapping his dick anymore. And I sort of feel like, was I just getting a bit too wound up about that? I was like, nah.
No, because you read the other stories and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, let's not bring the mood down.
Let's
Just a bit
let's
weird.
not dwell on this.
What did you think of the prison stuff anyway? Like that brief scene we get in the prison? Because I thought the world building of it, like I kind of liked it, but it was so brief and just kind of pointless.
I thought it was very, very, very promising. But
Yeah.
then the second scene is literally her getting broken out. And yeah, sure, you can like introduce like Jack in the second scene, but I felt the escape was just too quick and too
yeah.
easy, because it's literally just like we've got this
Just
ball
because they had to get everything
that
done
freezes
quickly.
time. Yeah, and it was like because we got to get back to because we can't let the companions do anything on their own.
What did you think of the fam then?
Well, and that's my answer.
They are a bit of a mixed bag, because obviously they've got that TARDIS house from Tale of Children.
The Yaz stuff,
Yaz
I
is now in love
enjoyed.
with the Doctor.
yeah, very clearly, very, very clearly.
Thasman for Series 13.
Mandip Gill's best performance? Yeah, go on then.
Oh yeah, Manda Gill, like, yeah,
I
I think this is the best she's been.
was interested in Ryan, and
I think Ryan had a really good
For-
scene in this as well. And I don't know
For-
if
for-
you
for-
enjoyed it, but it
for
was
some-
that one, like, and it was just like the scene of him and Jodie in the TARDIS. I think this was the thing that, like, they filmed an extra, like, 10 minutes or something, because Jodie has, like, longer hair. Just the scene of, like, him speaking to Jodie, it's like, this is, like, the first time you two have actually had a conversation.
yeah,
Like, it just, yeah. I was like, oh, this actually feels, like,
I
kind of nice.
I liked it, but it was just like but it was like the thing of you know, in Ascension of this, or whatever that finale was called, you know, some point in that finale,
Yeah.
Graham and Yaz have a talk about their feelings, now
Yeah.
they love each other.
Yeah, that was in Time of Children.
And I'm just
yeah.
like, but it's like, it's good, but it's like little too late.
I thought it was better,
Because it's like,
but it did kind of feel like they like stopped the plot. Kind of like how Resolution, they just have that scene in the cafe.
it's like, I
did think this
appreciate
was
it.
better though.
Yeah, it's like, I appreciate what you're trying to do here, but it's like, why, why now, and why just
Yeah, it's a little too
completely,
late at this point.
yeah, just completely stop it, just to talk about this. Like, it's important, but you should have been doing this all the time, so you don't have to like stop the scene for 5 minutes. You know, stop the story for
I
5
guess
minutes.
as it was I guess as it was like extra footage, then like they couldn't really put it anywhere else without stopping the plot, because we would have just had like Ryan leaves and nothing really lead to that.
True. And I felt his
So, like,
departure was well handled, like his reasons for wanting to leave.
yeah.
I wish we had like
Yeah.
see. It feels it's like it's that introduction where like it's Graham and Ryan immediately going to see Yaz. We should have had a short sequence, mind you, of just seeing Ryan with his friend from series 12 and all his mates like hanging out, doing stuff, like and then he goes to see. He goes
like,
back to his
not enough
home.
time.
And like maybe Graham's down at like with his bus driver mates, watching the footy or whatever, just like bloke stuff. I'm stuff us men do.
Yeah, that's typical blokes.
You and me are the encapsulate what the true British man is like, really.
Yes.
But it's
a couple of studs.
Oh, we just bang women all the time. I hated the words that just came out of my mouth. I wish them never to come out of my mouth ever again. Anyway, like that's what we should have had to really nail it home. That's like, oh yeah, we can get behind Ryan, because like I got it, but I was like more. And I don't feel like I'm greedy for saying more. I feel like to make it even more satisfying of what you're trying to do, you need to back it up. It's the show don't tell thing, but this era is tell you everything, show you nothing,
or tell you everything and then show you it at the same time.
Exactly.
Like,
there's no in between. Yeah. There's no in between. But yeah, I felt compelled, I guess is the word, compelled by Ryan's stuff. Like his reason to leave felt good. At first, when I first watched it, I was like, Graham's departure felt odd, but then on reflection I was like, oh no, of course he'd go with Ryan. He's his grandson. Like it made sense. It's just the fact that like Graham was like so up for leaving immediately, and then like did a full 360, not 360, 180. But yeah, I'm so glad that by the end of the episode, Ryan's like couldn't ride the bike. Oh yeah, he still.
I'm so glad they didn't just go like, oh, dyspraxia is fixed now, and he just cycles off into the sunset. What did you did with the basketball?
What did you think of Force Ghost Grace?
I actually wrote that in my notes as well when I was going to write the review. Yeah, Force Ghost Grace. It's just cheesy. It's just out of place. It didn't need to be there.
That idea of like them seeing Grace, well, I think that was appropriate. It's how it was executed that was weird. Like I would have much preferred like maybe Graham like looks behind him, like he like looks behind him or something, like looks off into like the middle distance, and sunbeam in his eye, and he does sort of see Grace in the distance, smiling, and she's not on a green screen. She's actually there.
Yeah, because it was just old footage. That we had seen from like series 11.
And then then Ryan looks round and like we don't, and Ryan doesn't see, maybe we don't like cut to Ryan's perspective of what he sees, but it's like you can tell like from Ryan's expression that like he's thinking of Grace as well, and he knows Graham is thinking of her, and then scene proceeds as normal. Not just like them, like the sun sort of like glows and she manifests in front of them. And they both looked, they both looked like, oh, Grace. And then and then she disappeared. And it was just odd. It just felt odd, and I was like, I get the sentiment, but there was a better way to do that than just have her literally sort of manifest. Because it then gave off like Wait, was she actually a ghost there? Was she actually there? Was that actually her spirit
I don't
visiting
think
them?
so.
I know that's probably not what they were intending, but it's...
It's up for interpretation.
And that's the true nature of art.
I mean, yeah, Ryan and Graham spin-off coming
That
soon.
was weird.
I've
that
noticed
that
we
was
have...
very weird
Yeah.
at the end.
Just like a fun little moment. I didn't hate it. I realised we haven't actually spoken much upon the Daleks for a story called
Well,
Revolution
I
of
feel
the
that's
Daleks.
because I have nothing really bad to say about the Daleks, because even though Resolution isn't my favourite Dalek story,
I don't like the... I don't... Oh, I thought you meant the resolution of this story. I was going to say, I don't like the resolution of this story because it is very much just the Sonic X Machina thing.
but the
they're
Sonic
like,
Screwdriver
if
didn't
we
get pulled
these-
out once this story.
No, yeah, true. But it is just, if we get... It's Dalek X Machina. They go, well, we'll get these Daleks, but the Daleks won't kill any of the humans. They'll just wipe out the Daleks and then fly
bit,
away again.
I thought you were talking about them getting into the TARDIS. I thought the
Oh, no,
TARDIS,
no, no.
actually disposing of them was actually really cool, and I felt like that was a good payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do
just think
agree.
the plan of like, well, let's get some Daleks to take out the other Daleks.
I did feel like that when it initially happened. I was like, no, Doctor, this isn't like such a bad idea. It might work. It's a thing. It's like, no, this is just a bad idea. You're calling Daleks to Earth. You're literally calling Daleks. But you know what? I was happy to roll with it, just so we could have a tiny snippet of Dalek versus Dalek action. You know, because the whole revolution happened in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate like everyone was going on about like the Civil War thing. Like the Civil War like literally lasts for like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
On the bridge now.
I guess it's the I guess the revolution in question is more on the idea of like they're revolutionary. Like Robertson even says something revolutionary. It's like, I guess like the new Daleks are meant to be like the revolution, and it's not like the fight is the revolution.
Something that I don't like about like the defense drones though is that we don't actually ever see anyone affected by them. Like we never see anyone on the other side.
No.
If you know what I mean, it's very much like from the perspective of, these Daleks have been implemented into society.
Yeah, I feel like
But we never
I feel like the
see anyone
the
affected
defense
by them.
drones. The story should have been. I thought the story was going to go down. It's like the defense drones are announced, and that's when Graham, Ryan, and Yaz like learn about them. They learn about them when the public address happens, and then they spend like a week or so. You know, the defense drones get integrated into society, and then they go bad.
Oh, I just thought of something that I found quite funny. I like how when the Daleks go evil, the lights go red because red means bad. Blue good, red bad. It's like, could you be any more like
But
on the nose?
they did look really good when they turned red. And
Yeah, sure. Did the Daleks change the bulb like when they were like fitting themselves?
I
into
like
the
how
casing?
like it's at the beginning of the story. It introduces all the stuff. It's like it's the gun is a water cannon, and the appendage is the gas thing, which I feel was a massive wasted opportunity to like harken back to the Peter Cushing movies and have the gun shoot gas. And I thought, that would have been really cool.
Well, actually, one of the guns was like supposed to be like tear gas or something, but like I don't know, wasn't active. I'm pretty sure they said that because like it was just a demonstration.
But I do like they spend that whole scene like setting up like this Dalek, but like it's a riot Dalek, you know.
The thing is, they're 3D printed. Like it said in that story that they're 3D printed, right? If there was a riot of people, right, they would take that thing out with like bricks. They team
Oh yeah,
from all sides.
it would get destroyed. They're literally like when it rolls out, they're literally all pointing and laughing at it.
Yeah, they're laughing. Yeah, that's what I liked about it. Like it was just really shit.
But it was intentionally bad, and I like that. I respect it.
Something that the British government would do as well.
They do. Don't look something the Tories would roll out at the next press conference. It looks like it's like we've got a new testing base thing, and here it is. It's mobile, and then a Dalek just rolls out. But that specific design, I was like, oh, I've just come up with an amazing story. I need to write that down. Coronavirus of the Daleks.
Oh no.
I'm
They were responsible.
going to get in trouble for saying that one. Let's not get political here. Come on, that's my catchphrase.
I was just about to say it. I quite liked when they just shot the Prime Minister.
Yeah, that Prime Minister who I thought was like, oh, we're expanding on the law. We're going to get like an evil Harriet Jones. And then she died. You know, it...
Yeah. I quite liked that.
It had to happen, but it was just like that whole idea of like introducing new characters into this universe and then just killing them. It's like the lone Cyberman, just killed immediately.
I don't think the Dalek gun effect is felt more powerful.
The sound effect.
There's just something about
the sound effect is from Remembrance of the Daleks.
Yeah. The sound effect and the actual CGI effect of just them it just feels powerful. They feel strong.
Incredible. We've come a long way.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that scene where all the Daleks up in the sky as well. That just looks so nice.
Jodie literally had a conversation with a CGI Dalek, and I wasn't sitting there going. Yeah. Obviously, I knew it was CGI, but it wasn't the forefront. It's going, that's not real. I was just going, that's a Dalek.
Yeah.
You know, that's great. And the spaceship looked great.
They put the headlamps on the wrong way though on the CGI models, so they're now accurate with the toys. Yeah, but now your toys are canon.
I mean, yay! I don't actually have that many bronze Daleks in my collection, but c'est la vie.
I don't either. I have loads of Time War variants of them that they done.
Because I
variants.
Got all the SFX classic Daleks, so I have a bunch of. So I just have a bunch of classic Daleks, and then the Paradigm, and so I have a lot more classic Daleks.
Same. Especially with this. Why are we going on a Dalek tangent about toys?
I hate toys. Why?
What was your overall opinion of the episode?
Fine. You know, we even have a video of us sort of dreading, what this story could entail, and I went into it with low opinions to the point where it's I didn't have low opinion. I mean expectations. I didn't have expectations for this because I didn't want to get burned. But then I think that helped. But I also feel like this story was just a fine thing. It just it didn't ask too much of you, really, not really. And it was lucky for us that we are Doctor Who fans, so we had an understanding of what was going on in the universe prior.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was just, especially on New Year's Day, where it was
oh yeah, it was just about fun.
We've not had the greatest, and we haven't had a great year in total. And I'm talking from now to including 2020. That's just, it's not been the greatest. But here we are, and Doctor Who is still on our tellies, and that's great. Because, if it got cancelled, I'd be very upset. And it was just nice to have a quote-unquote, simple Dalek story, where it's just a bunch of fun Dalek action, and, we got to say goodbye to two companions that, one, I kind of liked, one, I didn't really have an opinion on. So, yeah. What about you?
I think, similar vein with you, I'd describe this episode as comfort food.
Yeah.
It's not all that great, but you can just stick it on and have a really fun time with it.
Oh yeah, this is probably the one I'm the one when I come back to like, what do I want to watch? It'll probably be like this and Spyfall, because it's be like
Yeah.
I don't really have to switch my brain on.
It's like my biggest criticism of the episode was the pacing, just because it just
Kept going.
yeah, obviously it just tries to do yeah. Starting, stopping, doing this now.
I'm Captain Jack Harkness, and I'm immortal.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jack for what he was in it. Jodie gave a really great performance. It was fun seeing Daleks. I mean, yeah, it was just fun. It's not really something that I'm gonna like look back on like, oh yeah, that was a great piece of television, but it's just like a romp. A solid. It's like a solid. I'd say it's like one of Chibnall's best.
Yeah.
But it still has like all the flaws of the Chibnall era.
It's definitely in like my top 10 of this era.
Oh yeah.
Of
yeah.
Jodie. Let's say Jodie. Yeah, it's in the top 10 of Jodie's run.
Yeah, possibly even top 5
Yeah.
for me.
It was just all right. It didn't, and you know what? It wasn't bad, so we can't really complain.
Yeah. I mean, it did everything it had to, and as you said, it came out on New Year. Everyone's mood was a bit down. Yeah, it was fine.
It was. Do you want to briefly talk about what comes next? I know we did our whole big, discussion video a month or so ago, sort of, and where
What you mean, Dan? You mean the bit at the end of the
which
episode?
I didn't know about until I went on Twitter, because I watched this on iPlayer.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
either,
I watched it on iPlayer
same.
in like 4K HD. That was,
Yeah, 4K. Oh yeah, what did you think of the new titles? Like,
oh
they just made them look a bit less
yeah,
shit.
really good. Thought it was much better. And Doctor Who, I know it's usually said whenever like any changes happens to the cameras, but like Doctor Who has never looked better than this. And
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because I was really scared that they were going to like do the whole, grainy shit.
I think
from
I
series
think from
12
now
and, like,
I
all the
think from
lens
now on
flares.
I'm probably going to be watching the iPlayer versions of the episodes. But yeah, John Bishop as Dan. Now, we knew he was going to be in the next series.
Yeah, I have like friends in Cardiff that saw it being filmed, so I knew
Yeah.
before.
So, but we didn't know he was going to be a regular. He was going to be a companion.
No. I found that whole little scene that they filmed at the end like so odd. Like
Yeah.
it's like a nice teaser, but it's also a weird teaser. Like
I didn't get all the like references. At first, mainly because I was tired.
I've only seen it once.
Because like his mate says like stuff like your lucky number's 13, colours blue. Like
Oh, yeah.
I didn't actually pick up on all of that at first, but I was more just like John Bishop.
I'm in two minds about it because it's like I did really just want like the 13 in Yaz season, like just the two of them together.
Me and my mum. I was talking about it with my mum. Let's just get the best review out of the way. My mum really enjoyed it, and that's all that matters. So,
Yeah.
but we were talking about it afterwards, and I was also saying like, I really wanted a 13 in Yaz series, and my mum was like, yeah, well, they will probably like they'll begin the series together, and you never know, they may do a few episodes together. My mum sort of wants that.
I hope so. Yeah, because it does feel weird that it's like we need to have a white man there as well, or people stop.
I don't know if
watching.
that was like. I know that my reactionary tweet was like that. That was my take.
I don't think it was intentional, and like I hate all these people that are like cancelling John Bishop.
Oh no! Don't cancel him.
It's like, yeah, like they're going after him.
He's an
'cause it's
ally.
like-
He's like even.
Yeah.
I know like people did like deep dives into him and like
Oh yeah, he made like a few
but
homophobic jokes, in the
I
past,
used to
but
say
it's
like when I was a kid, if Doctor Who became a woman, they should change it to Nurse Who. Like I had said that. This was like a decade ago, but I have said that.
I mean, yeah.
It's like we change, people change, and I think he's got like
Matt Lucas used to do blackface, like, and then he was in
And he
series
was,
10.
yeah, you know, like, we can't just, like, cancel people. I know this is, again, my catchphrase, let's not get political. But, yeah, it's just, he seems like a nice bloke, and he's not even, you know, an episode hasn't even gone out with him yet. So, can we all reserve judgment for a bit? Just for a bit.
It's like, I'm disappointed, not because he's in it, just because I would have liked this other thing.
Fault.
But if he's going to be in it, I'm fine with that. Prepared to give him a chance.
I just hope it's not like, and we give everything to him now, and Yaz still gets nothing to do. Because she had, when she went off with Jack in Revolution, like, she got stuff done. Like, she had action beats, you know?
She felt like a character.
It was incredible. I know we didn't. I know this is briefly talking about Revolution again, but like I did enjoy like Yaz's sort of like I don't totally trust the Doctor, and it does relate to like the future because it's like I'm interested in where they're gonna take this relationship. Like we said, Thasmin, you know, Yaz seems to have like seems to have some sort of infatuation with the Doctor, whether that's romantic or not, you know. Yeah, I hope we get some exploration of that. You know, is it like going to be like, you know, a Rose situation, which is like, but you know, I prefer Mandip.
Yeah.
Nothing against Billy Piper, but I feel Mandip Gill is a little bit more likable performer.
Yeah, what's going to happen is 13's going to clone herself and set her up on a parallel universe.
Well, we did get the mention of Rose in Revelation. You know, when they went out of
She's not coming back.
Went out of their way to name drop Rose, and there was that tweet afterwards. It's like, has the 13th Doctor finally got over Rose? It's like, it's been like a billion years.
Yes, I would hope
like,
so.
If she's still hung up on her, God help the Doctor. But yeah, I wouldn't say hopeful, but I'm definitely more open to the future of Doctor Who than I was like
this is
a
us
month
like
ago.
This is us after every season. I swear it's like, I'm hopeful. You know, I hope they improve on.
That's why I'm like
things.
saying I'm reserving all judgment. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I did for Revolution of the Daleks and just go in with no expectations whatsoever, and we'll see what we see when we see it.
At this point, I'm just hoping for fun episodes. It's like Series 11 is like the safe, you know,
The safe
stuff.
bet.
Series 12 is the complete opposite of that. In the episodes that matter,
We've got spoilers, I guess, if you don't want to know. I mean, John Bishop isn't a spoiler, but like, if you don't want to know about the returning aliens, because there are a few, I won't say who, but
I mean, we spoke about them in our last video.
True.
Because like it literally broke like midway through recording. It was like, oh, the Sontarans are back.
yeah, and also the Weeping Angels.
Angels. That would be interesting.
I'm curious.
Just to see like Chibnall's take.
Will it be Chibnall?
Well, true. Good point. Yeah, because Ollie Moffat's written for them in the past.
I'm not gonna repeat what I just said, but it's like we just gotta wait and see what happens. You know, if it's good, it's good. If it's not good, we'll be back to talk about it.
And that seems like a decent place to end
Don't
this.
expect us to make any more videos, because
We'll be back in October or November or whenever it's coming out.
if we feel passionate enough, we'll make another video. But yeah, don't expect us back, you know, ever again. And yeah, that's a good place to end.